Well, hey, everybody. Happy Friday night and happy Thanksgiving weekend. Getting ready to record this week's Mike in the Midwest here while we have a few minutes. So let's do this thing. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 273 of Mike in the Midwest, our mini podcast for the amazing patrons just like you of the Be Our Guest podcast. Of course, my name is Mike Rallman, host of the Be Our Guest podcast, which you can find at beourguestpodcast.com. But I bet you have found it before because you're a patron of the show, which I appreciate so much in this season of Thanksgiving. I'm absolutely thankful for each and every one of you that go the extra mile so that we can keep the podcast going week after week after week, year after year. It's because of your support. So thank you so much for that. I'm grateful for that. It means a lot to me, and we've become friends over the years, either in person or virtually, and it means a ton. So thank you so much for being there, for allowing us to share laughs together through the show, and just for letting a guy from Missouri do something that I never thought I'd get to do. So I appreciate you so much, and hope you always get some enjoyment out of our shows. And I hope this Thanksgiving season is finding you well. You have bountiful blessings and lots of turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and all the good stuff, whatever you enjoy. I'm getting ready to enjoy a piece of pie here after this show. Can't wait for that. And just got to have some Mexican with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and my nephew. And that means life's good. Got to have some laughs and fajitas and family time. And that's what the season's all about as we move into the holiday season. Nothing more important than family and friends, and life's good. And it's, again, you guys are a big part of that. We get to have fun, and I'm just glad you're here. So hopefully you're having a great holiday season. If you're not, let me know. I'll be a friend to you. Sometimes you just need to talk, and that's what this is all about. So just hope you're doing well. Glad we're here. Today is November 28th. If you're listening to this down the line, I'm recording this on a Friday night, just so we have a little bit more time on Sunday, because this weekend is crazy, and this next week is going to be insanity, because next Saturday, Pam and I will leave for that Disney Destiny cruise, a quick little 4-night cruise where we're going to check out the new ship. So this week we're going to be doubling up on the podcast. We're going to be doing 2 weeks worth of podcasts in 1 week. So I needed to get as much of the podcasting done ahead of time. So that's why I'm here on a Friday night. Just a heads up, probably no Mike in the Midwest next week, because obviously I will be out of town. But I'll try to put some stuff in the Patreon Discord, some little extra information in there for you guys. So check out the Patreon Discord from the ship, because I will have internet access, and I'll try to make it up to you over there. But hope everybody's doing well. We are going to have a show here for you today, just talking about, like we do, the 3 sections, what's happening around the BOGP Studios, little feedback, and then I have a topic that I wanted to address because it's going all over social media, and people are taking it one of 2 ways. And I do have a take on it because it does kind of affect me. But anyway, so we'll talk about that in the 3rd section of the show, but we're in the 1st section of what's happening here around the Be Our Guest Podcast Studios. Thanksgiving is going on around here in the Be Our Guest Podcast Studios. And we had, of course, we host Thanksgiving here every year. Not a huge house, but it's full of love when everybody comes over. My wife's family, her parents, her sisters. My wife has 4 sisters, 3 sisters and a niece. They come over. Some of the kids come over, and it's loud. It's crazy. I saw somebody post on social media, and I thought this was interesting, and it made me think. They posted like 5 different kinds of plates on like a picture on Facebook or something. And they said, like, what kind of plate will your guests be eating off of today? And it was like super fancy china, like the stuff that you would have in a china cabinet, I guess, like the stuff that to me, it looks like a decoration, like at Palo or something. They'd be in the fancy room, like dishes that you would eat off of, like only on like Easter and Christmas, and other things. I'll be honest, around these parts, we eat off paper plates, and we don't even have like a formal, and I see a lot of people, and I always wonder what this would be like. And it's what I enjoy. I don't know, maybe I should have gone into sociology, but I love seeing people post their pictures on social media of how they celebrate the holidays. because it is so different. And one is not better than the other because because our house is not that big. So like what happens is Pam and her sisters typically sit at our kitchen table, which our kitchen table only sits six. It's a perfect square. And it has a seat on one side, a seat on the other side, a seat on the third side, and then the fourth side is a little bench. Maybe it seats five because two people can sit on the bench. So it seats five. And so that's our kitchen table because really there's only three people that live at our house. You got to remember that. We don't have a dining room. We did in our kitchen is just basically that it's like a little extra space in our kitchen that where the table sits by the screen door that goes out to the deck. So that's where we sit and eat when it's time to eat. So everybody else, we have TV trays and we sit in the living room, at the sofa or like my easy chair. It's like a love seat. And we have folding chairs that we take out, and everybody eats off paper plates and TV trays. So that's kind of how we roll for Thanksgiving. And we also have a finished basement, so we have a couch downstairs, and people take their food downstairs. We set up a folding, like a card table downstairs. So people eat down there at the folding. But to me, that's how it's always been my whole life. Like to me, that is what Thanksgiving's like. That's how it was at my grandparents'. They had a little bit bigger kitchen table, but the kids always went into the living room and sat at the coffee table and sat on the floor and ate off the coffee table or what have you. Or there was a back room or there was a folding table set up with folding chairs and a card table, and that's where we ate. But I do see these pictures of people having Thanksgiving dinner at the big formal dining room, and I think that'd be so neat. And I have actually done that a couple times with people that I've known in the past. But that makes me so nervous. I like the casual atmosphere. Maybe it's just because it's like you're comfortable with what you know. And that's kind of what we do. We have the TV on, we always have football on. And everybody's talking to everybody. It's very loud, it's very casual. So that's what a Thanksgiving looks like at the Rallmans. And if you ever need a place to go on Thanksgiving, give me a holler and come over because we would not even notice if there were two more people. And it would be more fun to have more people, and you'd be more than welcome. So there's lots of turkey. We had a ham. We had, all the good stuff. We had the dressing balls that my wife makes that were my grandma's specialty that my wife continues that for me because I loved them from my grandma. My dad loves them. All the good stuff. And of course, I'm still working on my second chocolate pie. We had two of them. That's what I told you about on the podcast. My mother-in-law gets me two chocolate pies. One is fair game for everybody on Thanksgiving after dinner. Everybody can have some chocolate pie because we also have we have four pies. We like banana pie, chocolate pie, a couple others. I don't mess with them because I only eat chocolate. And then there's the one pie that's only mine. This is the one I get this whole weekend, which I've already had 3 slices of. Too much. But the reason I like this chocolate pie, there's a backstory to this too. There's a backstory to everything with Mike, I guess, myself, is that my grandma growing up, always homemade. She made these chocolate pies from scratch, like from when we were little kids for the 4 grandkids, myself, my cousin Chris, my cousin Derek, and my sister. She would always make these chocolate pies because I guess they were super cheap to make. Basically, all she would do is she would make a pie crust in this beat up old little pie tin. And basically all this pie was like chocolate pudding basically was like on top of the pie crust and then like whipped cream on top, like Cool Whip. And that's what we had every Sunday after church for dessert because we go over to their house after church on Sundays, have dinner, and then for dessert we'd have chocolate pie. Sometimes she'd have other desserts for the adults, but I always had chocolate pie, and that was always my favorite. And I'd take some home after we left their house on Sundays. And so to me, that is such a comfort food because I grew up having chocolate pie, and now my mother-in-law found a place that actually it's down the street from where my grandparents lived. It's about 3 blocks from my grandparents' house. It's called Helfer's Pastries. They have this killer chocolate pie, and it is so good. It's super fancy. It's a fancy version of what my grandma made, but she gets that for me every year because my birthday is always that's basically my birthday cake. And but it's a kind thing. Like my mother-in-law does that, and it's just like you know that somebody cares about you when they go the extra mile to do something like that. So I appreciate that from my mother-in-law, and it is so stinking good. And thank you, Kelly. Kelly says, hey, Mike, happy birthday. Long-time listener. Just wanted to wish you and the BOGP girl happy Thanksgiving. She's over on YouTube right now. So thank you for that, Kelly. I appreciate that. And happy Thanksgiving to you. So, Yeah, so it's been a great Thanksgiving weekend, birthday weekend. Yes, got a year older, trying not to act it, trying to keep running, trying to stay active, trying to act like I'm 22 still. It'll catch up with me. It's catching up with me quickly, but you got to act 22 as long as you can, right? Um, got My family knows me, my wife, of course. Excuse me. Got some Hokas, some new running shoes. I needed those because my knees were killing me. I was still running on the same shoes that I used last year for the for the Dopey and for Disneyland. Because what I do is I save. I have a system at this point. I always get a new pair of running shoes for Christmas and I save them and I don't put them on until I run the Dopey challenge. And those are my new racing shoes. And then after the Dopey challenge, and then I'll use them and I put them in the box again until Disneyland. And then I'll use them again for Disneyland. So I only use them for Dopey and Disneyland. So they're fresh shoes. And then after Disneyland, I don't run any more races the rest of the year. So then I just use them for running the rest of the year. So I've run in these shoes every day since Disneyland. So they literally have probably 3,000 miles on them. They're destroyed at this point. They have a hole in the toe in the left foot. My toe does something weird on my left foot to have a hole in it. I don't know why, because I run on the treadmill every day, but they're almost like bald on the bottom. And they have no cushion in them anymore. My knees are getting sore. So I got some new Hokas, and they're cool because they're black and gold Hokas, which I've never seen black and gold Hokas. So this morning when I ran on the treadmill, and I'm not saving these because I'm going to get a pair for Christmas, hopefully, to race in for Dopey and Disneyland again. But these, oh my gosh, the treadmill felt so much better with new shoes today. You're getting old when you're excited about new shoes that make your knees feel better. But it was such a smooth ride this morning. So, when you get new shoes for your birthday, and I got Mizzou socks, when you get socks, that's a cool thing too. And I got some cool Mizzou sweatpants. So yes, that's definitely old man birthday. But it was a great time. Got to see family, got to see friends. Thanksgiving, turkey, ham, all the good stuff. So hope you had a good weekend. It's a great weekend around here. We put up the Christmas tree. Well, I shouldn't say we. My wife put up the Christmas tree. We got the Christmas lights outside. We are decked out for Christmas. Now, no Christmas tree here in the studio yet. I'm not great at decorating, and I have offered to pay Mallory to do that because, she's a teenage girl that needs money. So hopefully that'll get done before the Monday show because I'm going to give her one more opportunity. She's home this weekend. And so we'll see if we get a Christmas tree up in here before the Monday podcast. I'm thinking it'll happen because she needs the money. She's done it the last 2 years. I think she wants that job. So hopefully that'll happen. It's funny because this morning, Pam was getting the lights on she puts beads on the Christmas tree and bows and stuff like that. She was, puffing the bows and all that stuff, sitting on the chair. And I said, I'm decorating for Christmas too. And she's like, what are you talking about? You're sitting there and you're working on your laptop. I was like, no. We have to decorate for Christmas too. And what I was doing was I was changing all of our website stuff and the stuff on the podcast website and the stuff on the Discord, thanks to Jordan as well. Jordan fixed something. I messed with it for 20 minutes, couldn't get it to work, the header, but he got it done in like 10 seconds. But I was putting up our Christmas logos, like BRGuestPodcast.com. There's now the picture of the four of us with our Santa hats on and so forth. And at BRGuestPodcast.podbean.com, we got the header there. We got the little logo with the Christmas lights on it. And all the places I try to put all the Christmas stuff up to put a little Christmas cheer. So I was digitally putting up our Christmas decorations. Sorry, I got the Texas A&M game on in the background. They're showing the yell leaders. I can't with the yell leaders. The yell leader, if you know what the yell leaders are at Texas A&M, I can't. I don't understand that. They kill me. I'm a cheer dad and I don't get the yell leader thing. Anyway, if you're an Aggie, I'm sorry. I don't get the yell leader thing. And I saw them in person at the game a few weeks ago. I just did not get it because they were there at Mizzou. So anyway, I got all the digital pictures, Christmas decorations up. A lot easier than putting up a physical tree. So I think I won there. Anyway, so that's where we are. Hope you're having a great weekend. Yes, Trisha is going to address that she follows me with my scatter brain on these shows. And that's scary because I just bounce all over the place. If you follow along on these shows, God bless you, because my brain goes a million different directions. And on Mike in the Midwest without a co-host, I just keep talking. And I I don't know how you guys hang with me, but I love you for doing it. And I hope you enjoy it. You know me really well because basically this is what's like living in my brain for about 30 minutes. So let's get to the feedback from last week's show. Tricia said, and we were talking about small things that were blessings in our lives, not huge. I mean, huge things like having a house that has heat, having a job that you enjoy that brings in enough income that you can survive, having a family that loves you. All those things are huge blessings. But, small blessings, those are good things, those little things. Like a small blessing. I was thinking about this. Pam made fun of me. Guys, I drink a lot of Coke Zero. I love Coke Zero. But this time of year, my Coke Zero cans have the old school Santa Claus on it, the old Coke Santa Claus. I love that touch. It makes me happy because I'm a nostalgic kind of guy. I love Christmas, and I am not kidding. Every time I pick up a Coke Zero right now, I get a little bit happy because like this Santa Claus is like the perfect looking Santa Claus. And I swear this Coke Zero tastes better because Santa's drinking a Coke on my can. I'm not kidding. Little things like that make me happy. I love Christmas. Anyway, Trisha says, the fact that I can follow your thinking pattern as you bop from one topic to the next scares me. Scares me too, Trisha. I think I have a similar relationship with my husband that you have with Pam, except you're both quick starters. This could explain why we have 15 different paint sample patches on our living room walls, but haven't picked a final color. At this point, I'm just going to buy some more and make it a collage of colors. That's a good idea. Now, would your husband like that? Because I could roll with that. I'd be like, you know what? Let's have one wall that is like the coat of many colors, and let's just go with it. Let's be wild. Let's be spontaneous. Let's be different. But see, Pam couldn't have that. Like Pam has to be uniform. That's where Pam and I are different. I can have bold, crazy. I could have 17 different colors on the wall. No, she has to be like uniform. Like that's where Pam and I are totally different. Trish continues. I think it's awesome that Paige has the family she has. With it being Thanksgiving time, it's truly a blessing when parents can come together to support a kiddo. Speaking of Paige, pretty cool ESPN trivia. And even though I was rooting for my alma mater, go Big Red, excuse me, I think the supportive family Paige was raised in helped her become the successful woman she is today. Well, that's super sweet. We love her. And they won again today. They're in a tournament at Iona University, which is right at south of the Bronx, I think, in New York City. She's right. They landed at LaGuardia. I like following her. I might find my friends because I've never been to New York City. I learned about the world by watching my daughter's travels, and I watched her on the bus travel across the river there. She went by Rikers Island. I was like, isn't that where all the prisoners are? Just because I watched Blue Bloods. And they went to Iona, which is a little university in the middle of a cute little neighborhood, it looks like. And they're playing in a tournament. And they won their first game today. So they've won 2 in a row now. So I'm excited for them. So thank you so much, Tricia. Hopefully they keep going. And then Dennis says, sorry to have missed leaving feedback these past few weeks, but the Thursday and Friday night releases have thrown me off. Sorry, Dennis. I'm doing it again. I always enjoy your stories, no matter how long the episode is. And I appreciate your vulnerability and willingness to share. I'm an open book. I'm just a regular person. I don't mind. I love you guys. I know you guys are kind. You're not going to be mean. So that's all good. I don't have anything in the oddball category that makes my thankful list, but like you, my family finds itself in a transitional year. My oldest is graduating from college in May. My youngest is graduating from high school. So this year I am thankful for reminders to be mindful of not just the milestones, but the everyday things that will be changing in the near future. Have a great Thanksgiving, Mike. Well, congrats, Dennis. I mean, those are family accomplishments and celebrations this year because you've all worked hard to get the kids to those goalposts, those milestones. So I hope you guys all celebrate together and look to the future, right? Because those graduations are just opening doors to careers and to next chapters in life. And what an exciting time for the Keithleys. I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome year. I mean, wow, lots of celebrations in the future. So have fun, Dennis. I'm glad we're friends. I I do consider you all friends because we interact every day, through social media and stuff. And I wonder about you guys all the time. Like that's the cool thing is I can't think anytime I see a story about Wisconsin, I think of Trisha, I think of Jordan, I think of all my friends up there, Texas, I think of Dennis, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so many friends all over the world that as soon as I hear a story about, any place geographically, I'm always like if there's a winter storm warning or, a tornado or something, anything, like I'm like, I have friends there. I worry about it. Just it social media is wild. And this podcast is a family because I want to make sure you're safe and I want to make sure that you're okay, because like we're in this together and it means a lot. All right. So tonight's topic, I want to spend about 10 minutes on it because I saw something on social media today that tickled my fancy. I want to talk to you about. Now let me pull it up because I want to get to the story here. Let me see if I can find I saved it. So I got to find it. It's a story that was by Erin Andrews. And I like too many things every day. So I got to find where it is. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. Man, I like a lot of things here. Well, I liked a lot of stories because our Coach Drinkwitz, did decide to stay at the University of Missouri. So I'm super excited for that. Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Did I not like it? I know I liked it. Check one more time. If I didn't, I can summarize it. I thought I did. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed that I'm live here and I did not. Did I not save it? I know I did. Let me look one more time. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let me get to it here. Okay, so it's by Erin Andrews. Now, if you don't know who Erin Andrews is, she's a female sports reporter for Fox, for the Fox Sports Network. And she was on, I believe, like a podcast or something, and she was talking about, her career, right? She's a sideline reporter. She started with ESPN way back in the day, switched from ESPN to Fox. And she was asked a question about her career. And she talked about, I'm trying to find the exact quote. She said something like, with her job, and here's what it says: you miss out on a lot of holidays, weddings, events, and you live out of your suitcase, Erin Andrews said, explaining why you have to love what you do to work in sports. And she also was, because again, this is the Thanksgiving weekend, right? This is going to move into the holiday season where there's lots of games during the week. Once you get into like college football, you got all kinds of holiday bowl games and stuff that'll happen between Christmas and New Year's, and they'll go on, a lot. So when I got into this story, what happened was I dug into it, and they kind of gave some background, and they talked about when you go into journalism. They quoted this professor that said something like, you shouldn't do this job. You shouldn't go into broadcast journalism unless you know the following things. Like, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're probably not going to get married until you're past 40 because you can't, basically it's like, you're not going to have a social life. You're not going to see your friends or family on holidays. You're not going to, you're not going to be able to have like a stable, good chance of relationships because you're not going to be at home ever. And so when Erin Andrews talked about this topic on this show, mentioning, she said that quote, right? She says, I never get to go to weddings. I'm never home for holidays. I live out of a suitcase. A lot of people gave her a lot of flack, and I get it. So I see both sides of this, right? Because she has a really good job and she makes a ton of money. She left ESPN, signed a more lucrative contract with Fox to be a sideline reporter. So she reports basically for the NFL games, gets millions of dollars. And people are like, you only work, 17 weeks a year, 3 hours a day, you're getting millions of dollars, cry me a river. I understand that concept. And here's why I understand that concept, because of this. That there are first responders that do the same thing, that work every holiday, that, they work on Christmas Day, they work on New Year's Day, they work on Thanksgiving Day, they work overnights, they work the same hours, but they do it all the time, and they might be making 40,000 a year. They're making way less than $1 million. They're making, they're just trying to survive. They're just trying to make enough to put food on the table. So that's where I get that. That's where I get that. This affects my family in the following way, is that I thought about this because, of course, I have two direct family members that work in sports, right? They make their living in sports. I have my dad, who's the radio engineer for the Rams, and then my daughter, who's the director of basketball operations for the University of Illinois Chicago women's basketball. And I feel this, right? It's great during the summer when they're not in season. You don't have football, you don't have basketball going on. But the cool holidays that I enjoy, I'm a Thanksgiving, Christmas kind of guy. My birthday's in there too. That it's rare that I get to spend time with my dad and my daughter because of sports. And it's a bummer in a way, because growing up, like, it was a given that, like, everybody's together on those holidays. Like, when I was a kid, it was non-negotiable. Like, everybody was around the table, like, well, not around the table, but everybody was having dinner together, at least at the same time, at grandma's house. The aunts, the uncles, the cousins, my dad was there, everybody was there. I mean, it was not an option. Um, but over the past, because my dad's worked for the Rams now for I think over 25 years, he said. And of course, Paige has worked in basketball now since 2019. So, like, the last 6, it's it's been very rare where they're home for Thanksgiving. Now, Paige comes home for Christmas, because usually there's like 2 or 3 days where they give the girls off around Christmas, where she can come home briefly, and she'll come home like on the 22nd, and she has to go back on the morning of the 26th. So she does come home for Christmas, but my dad usually is not home for Christmas, because the NFL plays typically on Christmas, and the Rams a lot of times will have a game around Christmas. So a lot of times I miss my family over the holidays. Now, am I bitter about that? Kinda, kinda. But here's the thing. I'm also super proud of my dad and my daughter. They're living their dreams. When I think about myself being bitter about that situation, I can't hold it very long. That's me being selfish, right? My dad has a job that only 32 people have. There's only 32 chief engineers for the NFL radio networks in the world, and my dad is one of them. My dad is 72. I just turned 52. My dad is 72 years old. He's probably the oldest chief radio engineer in the NFL. I guarantee he probably is. But he hangs in there. He's a hard worker. My dad is a high school graduate. He's self-taught. Everything he's done, he's self-taught, because that's just who he is. He digs hard. He outworks anybody. My dad has always outworked anybody his whole life, and just worked his way up. And once he'll dog a job till he gets it. And he's had that job forever. I mean, he commutes to the games every week from St. Louis. Like, he works for the Los Angeles Rams, and he lives in St. Charles, Missouri, because he loves what he does. The Rams are playing they're playing the Carolina Panthers this weekend on Sunday. He's driving to Carolina to go to the game, because the flights were too expensive this weekend because of the holiday, because he loves his job. So he's driving to Charlotte and back because he loves his job. So this year, my dad was there for Thanksgiving because the game was on Sunday. It worked out. The Rams, they had like he doesn't have to be there till Saturday, so he could make it here. The weather was going to be good. It worked out. My dad could be here. Now, my daughter, Paige, she couldn't be here because they were leaving for a basketball tournament again in New York. So I didn't get to see Paige. But the thing, the big story is, you got to look at these kind of things 2 ways. I think you always have to have an open mind, right? Yes, there's 2 sides to this story. Like, yeah, Erin Andrews does miss out on probably a lot of her friends' weddings. You do not have a normal social life. You do not. I mean, that's a sacrifice of the job. You do not have a normal social life. Um, you're not going to be home for Christmas if you have that job. You're not going to be home for Thanksgiving because that's when the NFL plays. They're always going to play feature games on Christmas, on Thanksgiving, on New Year's Day. You know, the bowl games are going to happen, but you're also going to be allowed privileges that most people are never going to get to have. You're going to be hanging out with elite athletes. You're going to be getting paid better than anybody could imagine. You're going to have celebrity. So I think in life, everything is a give and take, and it's not going to be your whole life. It's going to be a section of your life. So when I read that, I was kind of torn, right? Because do I wish that I could have every Thanksgiving and every Christmas with my entire family? Do I wish Paige was going to be home for every Thanksgiving? Yeah, I do wish that Paige would be home for every Thanksgiving. But would I change it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When I see that Paige is getting to do something that she's passionate about, here's the other thing. I believe that Paige was put into that position for a reason. She is really good at what she does. And this is a dad talking, but I think anybody could see this. She is really good at what she does. She cares about those athletes and coaches, and she doesn't just do the X's and O's and gets them to where they need to be at the right time, make sure the food is where it needs to be, that the meals are planned and that the hotel rooms are booked and that the flights are booked and all that stuff, and that the uniforms are ordered, and she designs the uniforms with the sponsor, all that stuff. But she's there to make sure if one of the students is struggling with calculus, like, she is smart, she will sit there and work with a student that needs help with academics. I mean, she is there to make sure everybody thrives because she is like a mother hen. She was put there for a reason. So do I want her there for Thanksgiving? Yeah. But do I understand that in a way, I think she's got a better, like a higher calling to be up in Chicago and be with those basketball players? I think she does. So when I think about that, I think I'm being selfish. So I think sometimes, and I'm sorry about that, but the Discord's going off. Um, so I think a lot of things in life like this, you got to see them two ways. I would absolutely love to have my entire family home over these sports weekends, but I'm never gonna I'm never gonna say, man, I'm gonna be mad about it because my dad and my daughter get to do something that is so cool and they love it so much. How could you not want your loved ones to be living their dream? That's the best. I want my friends, I want every one of you to live your dream. If you ever have that, that'd be selfish to say, I'd rather spend time with you to take you away from your dream. That's not right. So that's kind of where I am. And as a sports fan, I love sports over the holiday weekends. Like, somebody's got to bring them to us. So the referees have to be there, the athletes have to play, the announcers have to be there, the grounds crew, Sean, my good buddy Sean in Cleveland, they have to get the fields ready. Like, there's so many support staff. There's so many folks that have to sacrifice their family times that we can sit here and watch Texas and Texas A&M battle it out right now and have the Iron Bowl tomorrow night and Mizzou, Arkansas tomorrow. Like, a lot of people give up family time so that we can all sit at home and eat pie and watch it from our couches. And so, yeah, some people do miss their family time and you got to have alternate celebrations. So it's give and take. It's give and take, but I think it all works out as long as you understand that a lot of these people are just kind of living their dreams. And my dad, my daughter, I think they are. And that fills me. Even if they're not sitting there with me sharing turkey and pie, I'll get to see them a little bit later. And I get to watch them on TV. That's why we have ESPN Plus. I get to watch my daughter on ESPN Plus. And then we send a lot of text messages after the game. And that's as good as it gets during basketball season. So I just wanted to chime in, give you a little perspective from somebody who's a sports fan, but also a dad and a son in the middle of the whole sports thing during the holiday season. There's good and there's bad, but it's mostly good. It's mostly good. It's a blessing. So I don't know where you fall on this. How do you feel about this and any of these other topics? I'd love to get your feedback and love to hear about it and share it for next show. So until we get back together again, continue to have a great holiday weekend. Hope you're having an awesome snowstorm incoming. We're supposed to get a few inches of snow, and I know up by Trisha it's going to be crazy. I know Chicago 9 to 14 inches. Good God, that's going to be wild. So if you're going to get all the snow, Get the shovel ready. Get no important. Get the sleds ready. Have fun. If you're gonna get that much snow, have fun with it. But more importantly, stay safe out there. So we'll talk to you soon. You guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We'll see you real soon.